So, Chicago sports scene. Let's do like a 30,000-foot view of the Chicago sports scene. How would we describe it, like in one bullet point?
It's complete dog shit.
I mean, first and foremost, as a Bears town.
Yeah.
It's just
It's a Bears town.
So is that why? Because as an outsider, I would say that the last like 10, I don't know where you cut it off, but like the Blackhawks had a good run there. I know they're not awesome now. They got the #1 pick though. That's exciting.
They're on their way, but yeah, it's
the
like,
Cubs finally get over the hump.
Yeah.
The White Sox won a World Series not that long ago, so it feels like
That was long ago.
there's some winning happening, but like because the Bears are so dog shit, none of that matters.
It's like when the Blackhawks are in their glory years from like 2009 to 15. The Bears, let's say that they were 3-13 or 3-14 now with the schedule at the exact same time. The Bears are still typically the lead story.
Yeah.
Even though, because it's just the Bears take precedence over everything, and then whoever is good would be like the next thing. But it's always Bears, 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 and then whoever.
This is true even like as the Cubs were, like was there ever a moment? Has there ever been? Because I think like people would say that the Patriots didn't matter to Boston people forever, and then suddenly because the Patriots won enough, it feels
True.
like like they earned. Is there a world where that could ever change?
Yeah,
like
I think
the Blackhawks win enough Stanley Cups.
I don't think the Hawks could ever get there.
No, it's hockey.
Hockey will always
Or
be.
I mean, were the Bulls in the '90s, the Jordan Bulls?
Oh, that was
like
it was Bulls town.
I mean, the Cubs were the
it was
exception in 2016
Yeah.
for sure because, I mean, we were going through like the John Fox years and it was just terrible.
Right.
And so the Cubs, and you're going for the first championship in 108 years. So
Yeah, but it would still like even probably that October, it was like 50-50. If you're gonna like the old sports talk radio like barometer, if it's like the phone lines are filled up for Bears and Cubs.
want to
Yeah.
talk Pernell McPhee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll talk about like random guys, and it's like the NFL I think is king everywhere, but I think it's especially
that's
true here.
That's true. And so how, I mean, like what I told TJ on a show not too long ago, when I moved to LA, almost immediately, and I'm not saying it's me, but a lot of people are. There's a lot of chatter out there that it was me. That the Lakers immediately win a title, the Dodgers win a title, the Rams win a title. So I told TJ I have personally guaranteed that, assuming I live in Chicago for the next 5 years, which I plan on doing, I will bring the city of Chicago a title. And then we started discussing like where's it coming from, basically. What are the best options we have? And you guys are obviously way more qualified to answer this than I would. I think we landed on, I can't remember, I don't know enough about hockey. This kid they got is
he's gonna be awesome.
What's his name again?
Connor Bedard.
Connor Bedard.
Yeah, he's
generational.
It's his birthday today. Actually.
Oh, really?
He turned 18 today. So happy birthday, Connor Bedard. He is gonna be like a super.
So is
superstar.
there like hope that the Blackhawks are? I assume they were dog shit. That's how they got the #1 pick.
They've been dog shit.
So is there hope that like they're actually going to be? I mean, not win the cup next year, but like,
no.
What's the timeline here? What are
I
we
think
talking
the
in terms
timeline
of,
for a cup, it's like you hope that in 3 years from right now is when they're like starting to knock on the door.
The window starts opening up. Yeah,
but it kind of closes quickly because as soon as they're going to be bad again, but they're going to be very young. And it's like as soon as they start getting good, they're going to have to start paying everybody.
Okay.
So it's like kind of a tight window. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think if I were going to be putting a future on any of the 5 teams, I think it'd be the Bears before the Hawks.
Well, that's what I think. I ultimately landed on the Bears, and I it's probably because I'm a Justin Fields guy, because I'm a Buckeye, so I have a vested interest in Fields being awesome. But it's like it feels like it's easier in the NFL. Like he has to be the guy for the Bears to do it. Obviously, like he has to be that dude. Which we all think. Are we all Fields guys in this room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're all
all right.
believers.
That's exciting. Oof, I was
Yes.
worried. I was
No,
worried.
we're all believers.
Yeah. All right.
For sure.
But I use like I'm not saying he's as good as Joe Burrow, whatever. But like if you would have said about the Cincinnati Bengals like right before Joe Burrow, if you would have been like the Cincinnati Bengals will be competing for Super Bowls, you would have been laughed out of the room, and then
totally.
it just kind of happens in a snap of a finger. So I think the way the NFL works, it's a little easier. Basketball is fucking impossible. Like it's
if you don't have LeBron or one of those type guys,
and I think the Bulls right now are, I wouldn't say like a fun, but like they're stuck in the purgatory that the Pacers always have seemed to be in like most of my adult life, where like you're good enough to compete, but you're not good enough. Everybody knows going into the season you're not winning the title or coming anywhere close.
Yeah.
But
It'd be that 6th seed maybe.
But they're also like there'll be nights where you watch them and you start falling in love with the players. Is that an accurate assessment? Like we like the team, but they're never.
Well, the Bulls
Not
are
really.
extremely popular in the city too. They sell out almost every night. Like their attendance is really good,
Yep.
and even when they're dog shit. So, but I don't know. I think everyone is.
I feel like they're
pretty down
worse
on the
than
Bulls.
purgatory now.
Yeah, like after this Vucevic trade, it was like we got mopped on that one.
Yeah.
Like we got mopped.
But at the time, there was like that brief run at the beginning. What year was that? Now 21, where they were the 1 seed in like December or something like that.
It was last year.
No,
No, it was last year.
2 years
Last
ago.
year's season. No, it was last year.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh
it's
yeah,
last
yeah,
year.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 But it was December of 21.
Sure, yeah.
December of 21. They were the 1 seed. They were a fun team to watch. Like when Lonzo was healthy, they were sharing the ball. Billy Donovan's the coach. Levine was playing. Like it was like, hey, like this could be like probably not going to win a title, but they could get make a little run in the playoffs. And I think after being in purgatory for forever, it felt better than what it had been. And now it's just like, well, that was completely.
That's what sucks about the NBA as compared to the other professional leagues is that you have a very clear idea of whether you can win a title. Like most of the league has that. You can't like play your way into being a contender,
Right.
And like baseball, you can sometimes like a team's a little better than we thought they'd be, and you're like, oh, this is fun. And then who the hell knows once you get to the playoffs? And
it happens in hockey. All
Football
the time.
even that can happen at times, where you don't have to be a fucking juggernaut to win the Super Bowl per se. But in basketball, it's such a kick in the dick to like go into you're like it's 2 weeks into the season, you're like we have zero shot of winning.
It's almost even like the playoffs. I feel like you could just start in the quarterfinal.
Yeah,
like you
pretty
could just
much,
eliminate half. Like the whole first round is just kind of pointless.
So the Bears is there optimism with the Bears? Is there?
a lot
would
of
you
it.
describe
Yeah.
that as optimistic?
Well, why don't you start with that? He's like the most cautious of the group.
Yeah. Well, here's how it kind of breaks down. So, like when we came in, like I predominantly covered the Bears. He obviously covered the White Sox. He all covered the Blackhawks. But like we are more cautious when it's like our team, I guess. And when it's someone else, like when it's the other one, everyone's so optimistic,
Yeah.
But I think we all fully expect them to compete for a wild card this year, which is not saying a ton because like. Carolina like tried to tank last year.
Yeah,
they were
they
in the
almost
hunt.
got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with the added wild card, it's not saying a ton, but the general thought process here is like the schedule's not great, but we also
Rodgers is
not
out
great,
of the
like,
division.
Yes.
Built
Yeah.
offensive line.
Well, and that was
added
like the other
DJ
thing
Moore.
where you said like the whole Burrow thing versus Fields. Like, can the Bears get there? All the best quarterbacks in the AFC. So
Yeah.
it's like if you if Fields somehow can just become the best quarterback in the NFC or in that conversation with Hurts, then it's like they got a path. Yeah.
I fucking love Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys
But
like him.
I think that's a general feeling too. Is I think we all think Justin Fields is the guy, and when we say the guy, it's like we think he could make the playoffs, win playoff games. As far as win a Super Bowl, I don't know. There's only like 4 guys who could do that.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. That's
Right?
the thing when people talk about quarterbacks in the NFL. If you made a list of like unassailable, these guys are definitively great NFL quarter. It feels like there's 4 guys. There are like 5. Like the list is. So not even Fields aside, just like every guy in the league, it feels like the way people talk about quarterbacks is unless you're like a standard of a guy who's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Everyone says you're dog shit.
Right.
And I don't really
Yeah.
necessarily think that. I think there is a middle ground where like you could be a pretty good player, and yet for some reason the way quarterbacks get talked about, it's like because I don't know like when I'm consuming like football content. Sometimes I just sit back and I'm like, damn, if you listen to the way people judge quarterbacks, you would think there are literally like 5 good quarterbacks in the world.
Yes.
And that's it.
There's
And
5
maybe
guys.
there are people listening, they're like, there are 5,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like there's 5 guys that you're like, yeah, give him $400 million.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like everyone's kind of like, wait.
But I think the problem with Fields is that when you start saying he's the guy, everyone thinks you're talking about him on that level, which he might. I think he eventually could be. He has the potential to
Sure.
be. But I don't think we're saying he's that. We're just like,
well, it's
Yes.
like our standard for
He's-
what the guy is in this
it's
town is
much,
Yes.
much
low.
lower.
And
We're
that's-
grading on a curve.
That's why I
for
kind of
sure.
qualified it that way,
Yeah.
because I don't know if he's going to win a Super Bowl, but like I think he's going to get us. Some,
if he is the starting quarterback for the next 7, 8, not like that feels like you've got a guy. At this
Oh, yeah,
point, you know what I
definitely.
mean? Like that.
Well,
that is,
next year's the make or break year for him.
Well, this
yeah.
year.
This upcoming
this
season.
coming season, yeah. And they got Carolina's pick, and
Are-
so
Are we worried about Are we worried about like basically like Dan coming to town and like having like are we worried about the Barstool as Barstool comes to Chicago and I'm worried about this. So I'm just gonna say I'm worried about this that the friendship we try to create too much of a friendship with because my attitude towards it is like kind of let Justin Fields be and just kind of leave him over there and like and I'm worried that like PMT is gonna like try to get in the mix and like be having calling Justin Fields, you know how they do.
it's interesting because
like where Dan's blowing up his phone all the time and like trying to get dinner with Fields the night before games and stuff like that. And it's like just let him keep him over there, dude. Let him focus.
That's interesting you say that because when we met him in Arizona, you did not want a picture with him.
I did not want to pick.
Yes.
Yeah. He came on PMT. He came to the Barstool house in Arizona, and I was trying to sit off to the side, and Dan was like, "Why don't you just get a picture with them?" And I was like, "I don't." Because of what I just said, I was like, I don't want to fucking, I don't want to shake, I don't want to touch his hand, I don't want to fucking, like he's in the zone right now.
Yeah.
He's like, he's not in the zone. It's the off season. I was like,
He's always in the zone. That's why he's the guy.
Yeah. No, I wasn't like, I don't get starstruck or anything. It was just kind of like, I don't. That's just not how I'm wired. I don't know. I was like, I love the guy. He's my favorite quarterback in Ohio State history. I just like didn't really necessarily need a picture. And I didn't feel like he needed to know that either. I was like, I don't like,
bro, I love you.
Yeah, I love you. You know, so like, I was like, I don't really know what to say to him, but
It's like if I tag you, will you follow me back?
yeah. So are we best friends now?
Yeah.
How does this work?
Well, that's kind of what happened with Cutler. Like
Yeah.
he was like best friends with Jay, and it was very hard on Dan at certain points.
yeah. When do we sit Dan down
went
and
through
we
that
say
with-
like, dude, like you're like Justin is the guy. Like, don't ruin this. Stop
Yeah.
ruining this.
But I feel like with Mitch, it put Dan and like probably put Dan in a hard spot because Caleb was Mitch's like
That's
legitimate
right, yeah.
best friend. He can't just be like, this guy's not the fucking guy.
yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, but he was very
Yeah.
fair with Mitch.
no,
so.
I would agree, but it was like even Dan would say it was a little awkward.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
of course. It was awkward for. I kind of felt awkward.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a
little weird.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. Would have
Yeah.
been cool if he was awesome though.
It would have been cool.
Would have been awesome.
That would have been
Let's go
awesome
through-
if he was awesome.
Let's go through all the Bears quarterbacks in the last 20 years. You tell me, would it have been awesome if they were awesome?
Yeah.
All right,
we
let's.
put him up. Rex.
Yeah, that would have been fucking
Yeah.
sick if he was really. So why? If we're optimistic about the Blackhawks, we're optimistic about the Bears. The Bulls, they're stuck. I feel like
purgatory.
the Bulls are going to be stuck for a while. I mean, I like DeRozan and Levine, but are they going to
Yeah.
trade Levine? That's like they've been talking about trading him for years, haven't
Levine had a quote the other day where it's like, eventually like there's so much smoke that there has to be fire. Like, did you see that?
I did not.
they?
Yeah,
I
so-
saw something somewhere as I was like doing hasty research to talk to you guys. Levine this year is expected to become the fourth all-time leading scorer in Bulls history.
Already? Yeah,
I think like he'll be.
That's pretty crazy.
So who would it
It's,
be?
it's Pippen and Jordan, and then I forget
Rose?
who else was on the.
Was it Rose?
No, I think he's like he's gonna like pass
Pass on
Derrick
Derrick
Rose this
Rose?
year. That blew my mind. I was like, Zach Levine's gonna be
Jesus.
like the fourth all-time.
Hang-
Maybe that was a bad stat. There's a lot of
Hang-
bad stats floating around.
Oh, yeah.
Are we hanging 8 in the rafters?
I know. Shit.
Jeez.
But the Bulls to me feel like a team that like is waiting to sign their superstar. Like DeRozan and Levine are supposed to be but
They've been waiting since that Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, Tim
Yeah.
Duncan class in like year 2000.
the way that I like the roster, but I also like I'm like it feels like they're setting. This is the roster that you build to then like somehow, get Giannis from Milwaukee to sign, and then you have the champion. But like, there's no way they're winning
dude.
a tie, especially with like Lonzo being. He's not going to play this year.
Nope.
Oh,
Never
they
again.
already granted them like the
Jesus.
Exception.
The exception, yeah. So they get like $10 million, which Jerry will put right in his pocket. And yeah.
And then the baseball situation.
How much time do you have?
The Sox and the Cubs are what? Like this, they're like kind of in the same boat.
The Cubs should be fine moving forward. The Sox, they're just bad organization, top to bottom.
What's
Zero
bad?
hope.
What's bad? Go ahead, Dave.
I mean, we're
Chief and Ed. You're just like
bad
oh, no.
ownership, bad front office, bad players, bad bat boy, bad stadium operations, bad player development, bad drafting. Like every single thing they do wrong.
What hope is there? Like how do you get out of this? How do you get out of this?
The owner has to sell the team. They have to start from like complete scratch. That's the only possible way. It's a bad organization. It's sad. It's very sad what they've done to it.
This is
It's a proud fan base.
they have taken away Dave's soul, because if he did that rant maybe in March, he would have been foaming at the mouth. Now he can't even muster like the strength.
Anger.
How long has it been hopeless?
This
is as bad as
I would
it's
say
ever been.
when they hired La Russa.
Yeah.
80-year-old
Yeah, they
LaRussa.
hired,
that was like when it was like,
was
okay,
so sweet.
this is the dumbest fucking organization on earth. But you thought the players were going to be so good that the manager wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's just like he can just sit there and fill up the lineup court, and they'll go hit 30 bombs a piece and win Cy Youngs.
I know he's not playing well right now. That aside, just in general, over the course of his White Sox tenure, are you a Lance Lynn guy?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I went to high school with Lance. Lance was
Brownsburg guy.
a Brownsburg guy.
Really?
That's got
Good
a
dogs.
it's got a loaded athletic history. Brownsburg
Yeah, oh,
does.
yeah,
My
very,
buddy's
very
a
good.
wrestling coach here now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, let's talk Brownsburg. Yeah,
Let's talk Brownsburg.
Tucker Barnhart.
Tucker Barnhart, another one.
Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward.
Yep.
Oh no shit.
It's NBA.
Drew Storen.
Drew Storen.
Yep.
I knew there's a handful of MLB guys that are currently playing for Brownsburg. Who in the NFL?
There's a kid named Chris Jones that like played at Bowling Green, and I think he played for the Patriots. I think he technically won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. I don't know.
Is that where the fucking
Hunter Johnson was a quarterback
at Northwestern
that went to
and
Northwestern
Clemson. Yeah,
Clemson.
he was a
from
big
Brownsburg.
time recruit.
Yeah, he was.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. His favorite team in the world is the White Sox. His second favorite team is Northwestern football.
Yeah,
Rough.
it's been a rough go of things. Yeah, it's been a rough go.
Yeah, so
Dave's had a year.
So that's why when I asked you what the Chicago sports scene is like, you're just like, it's all bad.
It's all well. I mean, you're talking about hope. You're always talking about hope for the fucking Bears, and like the Hawks had that 10-year run,
Yeah.
7-8-year run, whatever it was. The Cubs had like a 3-4 year window of like awesome, but other than that, you're just
you hate
banking on
Do you
hope.
hate the Cubs?
I hate the Cubs. Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, like
You had the.
it's more apathetic to me.
Wait.
You hate the White Sox a billion times more than you hate the Cubs.
You had there's an incident, right, where you were like.
Yeah,
This
Cusack.
is a brand new audience,
Cusack.
Dave.
Cusack.
Cusack, yeah.
You had what? So you were.
That's
mad
like
that he
wearing
was cheering
Michigan
for,
and Ohio State shit.
Is
not
that
quite the same because they're not technically rivals. They're
because this
they're
is
competing
helpful
for eyeballs
because
instead of like on the field for the most part.
this is helpful because I've been a Cubs fan my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a baseball team in Indianapolis. Most people, especially like in the
Got the
90s, obviously
Indians.
with WGN and we do have the Indianapolis Indians. But in the 90s, like all my friends, we grew up watching the Cubs because they were on TV.
Right, yeah.
And they were the closest team.
It was slamming Santa.
But I'm not a Chicago guy, so like I never really had any. My frustration with the White Sox is that sometimes they'd be on WGN when I thought the Cubs were supposed to be on, and like
That'd be frustrating. Yeah.
annoying.
But yeah. But otherwise, I was like, there's no. In my mind, as a kid in Indy, I was like, there's no rivalry.
Nah, as
but
a
obviously
whole-
in Chicago, there is. So why is that? Why
Most
would you?
Cubs fans don't give it. They don't even like acknowledge the White Sox existence. Every Sox fan loathes the Cubs. That's how it breaks down.
It's
as
like
a
Purdue,
whole.
Notre Dame, kind of.
But why? I guess like why? Especially like if for the longest time they never played each other, and I know
Right.
like now it's been
you're
going on
just-
20 years or whatever. That they do,
city
but-
rivalry, where you're from in the city.
Okay.
Neighborhood, region loyalty.
But so Cusack was cheering for both teams. and
Yeah,
that was
he's a pink cat. I don't deal with pink cats. Pink cats are no go to
He's
me.
a split jersey guy.
Yeah, you don't do that. I think that's just go ahead and do it. I think it's lame. Like, I don't actually care, but actually think it's lame.
You do care.
So if
you should care.
If I was happy, if I was living in this city and the White Sox get good again. And,
yes, that you're not allowed to.
I'm not saying I'm rooting for him, but like all things being equal, it's like White Sox versus like Padres in the World Series, and I'm gonna probably cheer for the White Sox because I'll be like it's Chicago versus
that's not allowed.
That's not good.
That's
you
not
don't
allowed.
Want that? Okay.
No. No, only those who have always rooting for the White Sox, unless you have like financial interest in it, like you bet them or on a future or something.
Yeah, you can't. Dave doesn't want you to be able to experience joy for more than one team.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so like you can't be like, hell yeah, Cubs won it in 16, and then the White Sox are good in what year is that? 21.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, fuck yeah, like let's go win a World Series. Like,
Yeah, like that's what I
No
told
joy.
Tuesday. I'm like,
Only
part
one
of being
team
a
can
sports
bring you
fan is
joy.
being miserable a lot of it.
Which is true.
So
It is.
So you can't. So yeah, that's it. You have to endure the pain
To
be able
experience
to
the happiness.
The happiness.
Yes.
And so the problem for you is that no one's going through there because the people. If in 5 years the White Sox are in the World Series, the people that will be cheering for them that aren't suffering through right now. You hate all those people.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I wish the worst on those people. Yes.
So you would rather me not cheer for you? Would
No, keep it to yourself. I'll have words for you.
Okay.
That's what
Yeah.
Chiefs on the ban list.
So
What if he wants you to sell some T-shirts?
That-
Yeah.
He wants
no.
you to- no.
what if I want you to be happy? That's ultimately
No.
You don't wanna be
get
happy.
You don't get to root for any of my emotions.
I have to-
Like misery, yes, that's what you should be doing is rooting for me to be miserable.
But that I want my friends to be happy. I
don't
we're
want
not
any
friends
one of my
yet.
friends
I
to
guess
be
we're not friends yet.
by
Is that-
happy. When the Cubs won in 2016, like I watched it alone. I could hear all the fireworks and cars honking their horns and people having the time of their life. I just stared at the ceiling.
So do you think?
He said it was the worst day of
It
his
was
life.
the worst day of my life. It was the worst day of my life.
Do you find that there are more people like you or not like you in this city?
He's a 1 in a trillion.
No, there are people that would agree with me on this, though.
I agree with you on
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
most would.
Okay.
Yeah, most
would.
would, I would say.
For sure.
But
Okay.
that doesn't mean there's people like Dave. There's nobody like Dave.
No.
To be
I'm the
clear,
best.
I'm
the
not.
one that-
I'm not.
I'm a unicorn.
I would not cheer. I would not be. I was just saying, like all things being equal, like if the White Sox were playing the Yankees, I don't particularly like the Yankees, so I would probably.
I would hope not.
So you're saying like as a Cubs guy, the White Sox have to be number one on my list of like do not cheer for this team under any circumstances.
No, I'd say Cardinals.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah,
Cardinals
Cardinals,
the team I hate the most.
Probably
Yeah.
Brewers too.
Okay.
So if that was the World Series and you being from Indy, like you don't care about the White Sox, that's a little different. Because I'm
hold
sure
him
you
to a
got a
different standard.
You gotta.
No, it's fine.
Heavy.
I'm ultimately going to do what I want to do. I just want to be careful with like if the Sox are in the World Series and you go up like 2-0 in the World Series and I come into the office and I'm like, Dave, how about that? I don't want you. Yeah, you're going to bite my head off. Yeah,
You just can't be happy.
that's
about
a,
it.
yeah. That's a foreign experience to me, I guess.